Alright guys, got another video for you. We are going to be working on Godot 4.1.1. Last year we worked on Godot 3.5. This year we're moving to Godot 4.1. So you can go to the latest, you can go to Godot and download the latest version. Currently on 4.1.1. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And I'm going to be making a Godot Basics series. This is going to be 3D Godot. We're going to be learning how to do some of this stuff here. So create a new project, and I'm calling mine 3D Godot Basics. Let's see, here we go. Alright, so it's got the standard stuff here. Alright, so I'm going to teach you guys how to move around in this new Godot 3D engine. Just like in the top middle here, we can switch between 2D and 3D. And we're going to want to learn how to move around in this plane here. If you use your right click and your mouse movement, it will move you around the screen like this, so you can pan and you can look around. You can also use WASD and right click to move around the screen. Oh, I gotta learn how to use these little buttons. Here we go. Alright, so I got this cool new overlay here so you can see what I'm doing. So as I right click and I move around, I can look. And then if I hold right click and I push W, I go forward. S, I go backwards. A and D moves me right and left. If you want to go up and down, you can use E and Q. Twisting the mouse will turn you while you're right clicking and holding. And then your mouse wheel, as you scroll it up and down, you can move faster or slower. So you can actually get going pretty quick with your mouse here. Alright, so those are the basic movements for moving around. We're going to go ahead and go to the help document to find some things that we need to do. So if you click on script at the top middle and then go to online documents, it's going to take you to this web page here. You can go to manual and then 3D, introduction to 3D. Alright, so if we take a look around here, it's got some information about moving around. So it says if you go to the editor settings, you can go to navigation and you can select different movement patterns. If you don't like the built-in Godot ones, you can definitely change them for yourself if you'd like. So that's written right there. Additionally, a good way to remember which way X, Y, and Z is, Godot falls under the right-hand method. So if you hold up your right hand and put your fingers in that kind of pattern right there, Z will be where your middle finger is, Y will be your index finger pointing upwards, and X will be your thumb pointing towards you. That can help you remember which way is which. This is also the same as Blender. Z is up, or I guess it's a little bit different. So Z is up for Blender, and Godot's more like Minecraft. I suppose that's actually what it actually means. So these different ways to look at the different movements. Okay, over here on this menu, we're just going to keep scrolling through some of this stuff. It says View, and then you can click Viewport. This allows you to basically split your window so you can see multiple different angles. We'll go ahead, we'll cover that here in just a little bit, I think. Gizmos. This is the environment panel here. When created from the project, the 3D environment has a default sky. I'm really new to 3D Godot as well, so I'll be learning a lot of this. So it looks like we can change the sky. That's pretty cool. The camera, no matter how many objects are placed in the 3D space, nothing will be displayed unless there is a camera 3D. So like in 2D Godot, you could just hit play and you would see the screen. With 3D Godot, you have to make sure that there is a camera if you want to see anything. And then it talks about putting the camera in the world. The camera needs to be a part of the root or as a child of a viewport. Alright, so there's some really basic things. Let's go ahead and try some of these things out. And let's see, what does it say about lighting here. I don't worry about that. Let's see if there's anything else I missed here. Light, camera. We're gonna do a little bit of this. We're gonna move around. We're gonna add a floor, and we're gonna work on a couple things. So I'm kind of lucky that I didn't mess around with Godot 3D until now, because I don't have to worry about learning a lot of this stuff. So I'm learning it all at once here with you guys. So okay, you can switch between 2D and 3D by clicking up here. Let's go to the 3D scene. In the top left, we're going to click on 3D scene. So our root node, I'm going to rename this as our world. Man, I really wish, maybe I should make this a little bit larger. Let me see if I can figure out how to make this text bigger, because it looks small. Let me pause it right quick. Okay, I looked all over. I can't figure out how to make the font sizes any larger. I don't understand where that is. Maybe it's this? That might be it. Oh my gosh. I think I might have found it as soon as y'all started watching. I think that's it. Editor settings. Yeah. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna crank it up real high and we'll prove it. Let's see. Save and restart. It's gonna be massive. Nope, not even that. I do not know. This thing is driving me bonkers. Maybe it's this. Last thing I'm trying. I'm done messing with this stupid thing. I've been trying to mess with it for way too long. Yeah, okay, that's it. So if you want to make your font larger, go to editor settings, change the font. It looks like it has a display scale. I bet you it should be at like 125 for mine. Let's see if that does it. I was looking for way too long, y'all. Okay, that's much nicer. Okay, so 3D scene. We're gonna call this one world. Alright. Now we're gonna go ahead and add a static body 3D. And then the static body 3D is going to need a mesh instance. And it's also going to need a collision shape 3D. There we go. Okay, so you don't see anything added yet. That's because we need to set some of these settings here. Go to the mesh instance, and I want you to select a new, there's a plane which you could use to like make like obviously a plane. We're not going to use the plane though. We're going to use the cube. New mesh box. And then for our collision, we're going to also use a new box shape 3D. So on the left hand side, this is going to be our floor. So I am renaming the static body for the floor, or the 3D static body to floor. And this is the mesh. That's what gives us the thing we can look at. And then the collision shape is what gives the mesh you the ability to touch the mesh without falling through it here. Okay. Is that thing working up there anymore? It looks like my I have to have this windowed up or those buttons aren't showing. Okay, cool. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so I've got my cube here, my mesh instance, my collision shape, and my floor. That's my static body. Over here on the right hand side, let's go to transform. And we're going to stretch this square so we can get it to make like a platform for us to stand on, kind of deal. So over here on the side, you'll see that you can like click. I think you can click and drag. Oh, let's do 5. So if I type 5 there, you'll notice that it made all 3 of them 5, but I only typed that on the Y. Alright, so I was hoping to get a little bit different result, and it took me a little while to figure it out. But over here on the right hand side, there's a lock and unlock component ratio. Turn that lock and unlock off, and now you can adjust them individually like so. It looks like we want to adjust our X and our Z, so let's adjust this. I'll do 10 by 10 maybe. I'm going to go bigger than that. I'm going 20. 20 by 20. And I'll actually shrink my Y. Let's shrink the Y to 0.25. Alright. Let's see, is my keybinds working? They are working, so you can see what I'm pushing. So I'm holding right click. I'm using WASD to float around. And you can see I've got like a floor that I've added in. Excellent. Okay, so if I click play up in the top right, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you're going to see it says you haven't saved your scene yet. So let's go ahead and save it. I always like to make folders, so this is going to be my scenes folder. I'm going to create a scenes folder, and you'll see over here on the left hand side it created a scenes folder. And I'm just going to, I'll leave it as world for now, that's fine, and I'll hit save. So my scene is now in my scenes folder, and if you look, when I ran this, I cannot see anything. Earlier, whenever we were going over some of that stuff, I said you needed to have a camera so you could see the things that's happening here. So let's take a look at what it would, let's add a camera to our scene so we can actually see what the world that we're looking at. So I'm going to click on world, I'm going to hit the plus sign, I'm going to say camera, and there's a red and a blue. Red is 3D stuff, so we're going to be putting 3D stuff in here. Now I've got my camera. You can also move stuff around by these handles. You do not have to use only this transform thing over here. You can use these handles, so I'm going to grab and pull this up, move it back, up, there we go, and I probably want to rotate it downwards. And now I don't really know what my camera's seeing. I'm kind of flying blind here, but I'm looking at it and I can kind of guess what I probably see. You can see that's kind of looking that way. But I don't have to guess. I can use this view button here. So I can click on view and I can say viewports. And when you do that, it gives you, you can see multiple angles here. I'm looking at my perspective, which is perspective view. And then I've got this preview here of this camera. That's what the camera is seeing right there. If I click this little preview, that's what the camera sees. Down in the bottom middle, I've got this little output window here. I can click on output here, and that will hide that so I can see a little bit more of what's going on. Now let's see what happens if I press play on this one. Play the scene, and looky there. I have a background, but it looks really dark. It's not white like that. It's dark. What we need to add next is a light. So I'm going to click on the world. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to say light. And I think the directional light. Let's do that one. Directional light from a distance as from the sun. Alright, so now you see I've added a light here. And look on that light. If I can pull it up here, I'm going to grab it and lift it upwards. you'll see that it's got a arrow on there pointing at a direction. That is the direction that the light is shining in. So I'm going to pull this thing upwards. Where's my little movement thing? Oh, there it is. I'm going to pull it way up in the air. Like so. And then I'm going to rotate it. I like rotating stuff with the panel, so maybe I should do that. So I'll click over here on the right hand side, and I can do my rotation here. Nope, not the Y. Let's see if it's, is it Z? Nope, not Z, so it's on the X axis. Looky there, do you see the ground starting to light up? Nope, -90, must be -90. There we go. So the ground's lighting up. I could also, if I wanted, I could add a bunch. So now that thing's way up there. I wonder if that is, ooh, is that the actual light that looks like that? Let's see if I can move it over. This is just me playing it around now. Let me move this on the Z500. No, it just happened to appear on the sun. Okay. So we got a light. Maybe I'll do 250. Alright, so it's way up there. It may not need to be that high. I don't know. I'm still learning. Okay, let's see what happens when we play this scene now. There we go. It's lit up a little bit more. You can probably play with the distance. Let's see what it looks like when it's at 50. Does it look brighter? Maybe. Let's do 5. Play. Yeah, I'm not really certain what the difference is with the distance. But anyway, there you go. We've got our very basic scene. We have a floor, we have a camera, and we now have a light. You can play around with the camera, get different angles and sorts, but this is just the basic tutorial of moving around with a 3D Godot scene. Go ahead, fly around, see what you can do, play with some of the stuffs on the side panels, and that's the end of this video. You guys have a good day. I'll see y'all in the next one.